And I was shook, and I was like, oh, how good would it be just to lay in bed? I wish I didn't have to go to work. Here's some cancer. Lay in bed now. It's a lesson you refuse to learn will repeat itself until you do.
I'm usually really scared to make mistakes when there's potential future mistakes on the horizon. But more often than not, when those mistakes do happen, there is always like a positive spin to it where I will learn something out of it. What's up, legends? Welcome back to the Democast. My name's Jack. Here, my co-host Alex. What's going on, man?
And just keeping it alive, you know it is.
Always. Sick, yeah. Just been...
Yeah, I haven't seen you this week.
No, because we didn't go riding on Wednesday.
You been good?
Yeah, just been chilling.
Keeping it alive?
Keeping it alive, really. Work's been pretty busy, but...
Yeah, all good,
just like, yeah, getting ready for Crankworks in a couple of weeks. I'm so fucking keen for that.
That'll be sick.
Yeah.
When do you fly out for that?
Not this coming Tuesday, the following Tuesday.
Yeah, right, and you're up there for a week.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
We're going to be late on a pod.
Yeah, so we'll miss one in like 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, that's sweet.
But you get what you're given.
Yeah, that's right.
This is for free. You're not paying for it. You'll get what you're given.
I'll do a solo on my phone. Holy shit! Before we derail on that, different type of solo.
I didn't know you were an athlete.
Them OnlyFans athletes. Mate. Jesus. Last week, something, because I want to bring this up with you, but I haven't seen you all week. Last week we spoke a bit about, like you at the top talked about things that you wouldn't do again in business and stuff like that. On that, have there been any like staple moments? That's probably not the right word.
I know what you mean. Standout moments, maybe?
Yeah. I'm sure that if there's a better word, give us the better word, please. But like any of these like big moments in life where you thought that it was like a negative, that like shit was just tanked, but it actually come out to be a more positive outcome?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's something that happens more often than not. And maybe this is a little bit of a mindset thing as well, but I tend to find that I'm usually really scared to make mistakes. Like when there's potential future mistakes on the horizon, I get really worried about like whether I'm making the right decision, all those kind of things. But more often than not, when those mistakes do happen, there is always like a positive spin to it where I will learn something out of it, and there will be a takeaway that I guess like outshines the negative of whatever mistake it is that was made. And I think that's something that like a lot of people really get caught up on, and they really get caught up in that. They kind of get stuck in that spot where they're too scared to take any action because they're worried it's going to be the wrong action. And I guess just being afraid of those mistakes, but those mistakes are the only way that you're really going to move forward. And I guess all of the losses that I can think of anyway, because I had a bit of a dig through the old memory banks, trying to think of some stuff to bring up for this episode, and pretty much everything that I could think of kind of was like, yeah, like that didn't really go to plan, but like this better thing came out of it. And yeah, I think so many people get caught up in that, being too scared to take any action because they're scared they're going to take the wrong action or make the wrong decision, and they just end up stuck taking no action, which is arguably the biggest mistake you can make because they're too afraid to do the wrong thing. But yeah, I think that you don't have to be so worried about making the right decision. You should be more concerned about making the decision right. So whatever decision that you do make, because you can only make the best decision you can make with the knowledge that you have. So making that decision and then kind of committing to it, you know what I mean? Instead of being like, because the grass is always greener. So instead of being like, I should have done this other thing, or like, if I had known this or whatever. Cool, maybe you do need to pivot, but make the decision that you've made, make that the right thing. Do the absolute best that you can with the decision that you've made. And I think that's a really important thing for me, and something that I do whenever I do have these big decisions to make, because it's so easy to get stuck and just not take any action.
Like a very hurry up and fail mindset.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because as soon as you you fail, or like, you know, you do make that mistake or whatever, I really like the term fail forward, where Like that is how it operates, I guess, where you kind of do have to have those mistakes to learn anything, because all of the times that if we're talking about wins or losses, just to kind of make the language easy, all of the times I've won, I haven't learned anything. But all the times that I've lost, and we touched on this in a previous episode, there was a job that I did a video job I did for a client recently, and I just didn't deliver what the client needed. But I learnt so much more from that job, and like, I guess the pre-production that I need to do for these jobs, or planning, or trying to work out what the client actually needs from me, or what questions do I need to ask to get the right info out of them, or all those things. I haven't learned that from all the jobs that I got right. It's the one that I've had go horribly wrong that I've learned the most from. So I really like the concept of failing forwards.
Yeah, very much so. I think that, and it took me some time before I could harness the concept of it, because it's really easy to be like, you learn more from your failures than you do from your success. Yeah, but failing fucking sucks.
It doesn't make it feel any better in the moment.
Still shit, hey. So it takes a bit to harness that and like take that logical mindset. I've still been known to be a couple of you're a fucking dickhead, like, and definitely put it back on me. And
I don't want to make it sound like that I am no longer afraid of making mistakes.
Oh yeah, I've met you.
I am a very afraid person.
But it's you. How in my mind I can visualize it to adapt it to me, and I'm very one of those. I can take when I take nice quotes or information in and stuff like that and apply it to myself. I have to give it this visual sort of like, how do you roll that through and make it fit for you? And it's very much so. Every time you fail, you gain that little bit more knowledge of how to handle the shitstorm, because life is just a bunch of fun little shitstorms.
Yeah, well, it's just repeating problems forever.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
and a little bit sidetracked, but I feel like that's something that people really kind of latch onto and kind of makes them miserable. Is they want there to be no problems.
Yeah.
People want the problems to end.
There will never not be problems.
And that's not how, like you...
What are you going to do? What are you going to do if there's no problems?
Yeah, exactly. That's
fucking boring, man.
But, it is just a constant, even as far as like, once a week I run out of food and I have to go grocery shopping. That's a problem that I have to solve every week. Like, that's how life is.
Very much so.
And to some degree, you get to choose those problems.
I think that is the what's the word here? Like, the benefit of harnessing it is you educate yourself, one, how to handle the shitstorm better, and you don't panic as much. You start to see little holes and exits that you can adapt and move through. Like, right, I've dealt with this before. I remember when this went bad, or like if it's customer based, like, yep, this is the process we need to go down to help the customer help us move forward. And then once you start to alleviate those shitstorms, then your next shitstorm, fold in the washing. I fucking hate folding the washing, man. I'm so lucky. So lucky that my partner puts up with my shit for that, hey. But again, you get the benefit of choosing your problems. You're still going to get copped with some absolute fuckery from time to time. But sweet, you've armed yourself with failing fast to be able to move forward with that as best you can. Again, it doesn't mean it doesn't suck, but oh man, But so like deep diving more into that. Have you like what are some? Because like I one of mine that I thought was gonna, and like I got a few from really minor things on the outside, but were major to me, and things that were probably major a little all over. But like my crash last January, broke a couple bones. It was sweet. But it was such a, because one, I'd been dreaming of doing that line for ages, not only for myself, but to beat you at it as well. Like it was everything. My whole writing focused around my ability to do that line. I was like, once you can do that, that's the end of it. And I find me personally, I come unstuck a bit if I am like, right, so once you solve that problem, everything's sweet. No, there'll be another problem to take its place immediately. But then once I do that, I put a lot of pressure on it. And as it
And you
unfolds,
probably pulled the trigger a little bit early on it.
I underprepared as well. Like I underprepared myself for it. I rushed into it, come up short, broke a bunch of bones. It was sweet. But then I had to take a lot of time off riding and started to get a little scared going back to riding, which was a problem for me. But in that, what I thought was I've lost the thing that connects me with my friends. I've lost a thing that gives me a bit of identity. I lost that thing that like made me cool type thing. You know, like I lost these aspects and was just this hobbly person that could barely wipe his ass or get out of bed. I then started to get back in that, so it gave me a little bit more like a drive to, you know, pick yourself up, like have a go. But then when I got back into riding, I was more cautious about how I approach things. That and it set me back a little bit. In the sense I was like, maybe I shouldn't just run into this. But in that little meticulous, like, think about how you do this, I then could see mistakes I made that put me in the same spot that caused the crash. And then, so from that, got to extend myself further out and now ride heaps better than, arguably, it still scares me a little bit, but arguably have much more ability now to do that line than what I did when I attempted it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I feel more comfortable on the bike. And then I started to look at what was, instead of just, I feel uncomfortable, right? What are the things that are making you feel uncomfortable?
You kind of get to develop that technique a little bit and kind of notice those things. And I've noticed that in your riding that you are a little bit, instead of just being like, oh, it just all feels wrong today. It's like, well, why though? What am I doing? Or like, you know, what little body movement am I doing that's not quite right? Why does it feel weird? Because it's not just all fucking voodoo.
Yep.
It's probably feels wrong because you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Well, like, and like for a long time there, it was foot placement.
Yeah.
It's because I was running pedals with like super grippy pedals because I was like, I don't want my feet to come off.
Yeah. But then your feet were just locked in the wrong spot all the time.
Not moving. Yeah, that's right. So when things would shift and I would want to rotate around the bike, I couldn't because my feet were locked into this position and it fucked me.
So I guess rewinding on that a little bit, how much of a, if you can zoom out on that and think about, because we all know that crashes are inevitable, your thought process around like, what if I crash and get hurt before that happened?
Nah, so the day that I rolled into that, my thought process was, you're doing it or you're going home in an ambo.
Yeah, okay. It was a bit of a do or die moment.
You were not, because once I got up to the roll in, and then
you were like, I'm not walking back down.
Well, I had a couple runs and then I rolled back up and they were like, we're going to water the jumps. So I was like, right, I'll just hang up the top here. And then they watered it and everyone walked away. And I was like, this is it. If you do not roll this time, because what had happened is we would go there, I wouldn't do it. I would come home and I would just lay awake at night being like, why the fuck are you not like pushing yourself? Why are you not going for the thing that you want? It's right there. Literally, just go down and hit it. That's all you had to do. Arguably, I also probably should have wanted to land it as much as I wanted to hit it. But it was not a thing that I'd cared about. Because in my head, I was like, you're probably going to come down nose, you're going to go over. Not one point was I like, you're going to land it and then have to think what the fuck you're doing for the next set as well. I crashed on the first one. I only ever thought about hitting the first one too. So I never had a contingency plan for what happened after that. So like arguably my whole goal was just to hit it.
Just to hit it.
Make it or not.
And I guess potentially once you came off the lip, you were like, well, I'm done here. And that probably
I knew I was.
I mean, like...
Yeah, you check out.
Before you even, like... I mean, you probably knew you were going to crash pretty quickly, but, like, before... Like, you had no roll-away plan. You hadn't had you had the going off the lip visualized, but not rolling away. So once you were off the lip of the jump, your brain was like, we're done.
Yeah, that's all we packed for.
Yeah.
This is all the supplies I have to give you. And you're done.
But I guess sticking with the theme of what we're trying to fucking get to is that in hindsight that like you've learnt so much more as a rider because of that.
To think of the next step.
Yeah.
Another way that I apply that exact same thought process now is sort of like in a monetary way is if I plan to make $50, I'm only going to make $50. I plan to make 1,000. I will only make 1,000. You're not going to make more than that.
Yeah.
If you plan to only go off the lip, how the fuck are you going to land?
Yeah.
And then it started to give me this like thought process as well of even if it's scary, you still have to, even if it's a scary leap or thought, you still have to give yourself some degree of landing. You have to think of what is going to happen when you come back down off that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Send it.
Sweet. So I kind of touched on this a little bit, that I found it a little bit hard, and this is not me by any means saying that I've never made a mistake, but I found it a little bit hard kind of thinking back to like those pivotal moments, I guess. And I guess because I have taken such a positive thing out of all of them, which kind of sticks with the theme a little bit, but I don't know if I would necessarily say that this was a mistake that I made, or that if I could go back, I would change anything. But if I was to give someone else advice, I would tell them to do this thing differently to how I did it.
Yep.
So basically, straight out of high school, actually before I even finished high school, was when I started my first business. I was 17 when I started my first business, which was the same year that I started year 12. And then by the time I'd finished year 12, I went into that full time. So that was like straight out of high school. I went straight into working.
You finished year 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, sick, man. Well done.
Thank you. I never looked at my results for my HSC. This is off topic, but...
That's not like us.
Yeah. I never looked at my results for my HSC. Because I was running the business while I was in year 12, by the time the HSC rolled around, I was like so busy that I was having days off school to just fucking work, basically. And mum kept writing like shitty letters being like, oh, he's at the doctor's. And they're like, is this kid fucking dying? Like, what's wrong with him? And then one day they called mum and they're like, what the fuck? Like this, like Jack needs to be ready for the HSC. Like he's not coming to school. Like what the fuck is going on? And mum was like, he's fucking working. Just leave him alone. And they were like, he can't do that. So the school was like actively trying to stop me running a business so that I could do my HSC.
So you can get a thing that... Oh, I'm not saying that. Carry on.
Yeah, essentially, but...
That's a touchy one.
Touchy one.
Yeah.
Anyway, but basically the school was trying to... While I was in year 12, the school was actively trying to stop me from running the business. So when I finished year 12, I was like, fuck your Mark, I'm doing it without you. So I never looked at my HSC results. I never did. But yeah, technically finished year 12. I didn't study for any of the exams. I probably did shit because I was like, fuck yous, I'm running this business.
Still, but mad flex.
Yeah. Well, and
I know very little people that have made it that far.
And as much as at the time I was like, fuck, this is stupid, I just wanted to get out. But basically, the only reason why I stayed was because trying to get a job doing what I was doing was kind of hard, which is inevitably why I ended up just starting a business, was so that I could do the job that I wanted to do, which was being a graphic designer.
Yep.
But in hindsight, that's something that I'm super glad that I kind of have that. Not that I think my life would be any worse if I didn't have it, but I'm glad that I kind of like persisted and just ticked that box.
Rather have it and not need it, and need it and not have it.
Yeah. But regardless, the thing that I'm trying to get to, so basically straight out of high school, I'd never worked full time for anyone else. I'd had like part-time jobs after school doing random bits and pieces. I'd done some freelance graphic design work at that point, but never actually worked full time for anyone, and just went straight into running a business. I'm super grateful for all of the things that taught me. I wouldn't recommend that to be necessarily the best path to go, particularly if you want that business to succeed. Now, my business didn't fail, but it got too much and I sold it. So I would definitely recommend that if you want to start a business, particularly if you're like in high school now, if you're like younger and kind of ambitious, and you envision yourself running a business eventually, I would highly, highly recommend find a business that is in maybe not even the exact field that you want to work in, but a similar field.
The realm of...
Similar realm of what you kind of want to do or what you envision yourself doing. And get a job at one of these places, and then basically treat your boss like a mentor and try and grow within that company and try and just soak up as much as you can about like not just like, oh, this is the procedure, do your job, you shut up, do the thing, go home. Ask questions. Why do we do it like that? How come that's the way that this works? You know, like
be inquisitive.
Be inquisitive and just learn as much as you can, even if it's got nothing to do with your actual job role. Just try and learn as much as you can about this business and how it operates and why do we do things this way, and try and grow within the company. If you can climb that ladder and then learn to manage someone else's company, I think that is like such a tool for you to carry into running your own business, because you're not learning how to manage a business and trying to like get a business off the ground at the same time. You've already got some knowledge of like, like the business that I was at previously did this, and this, and these were the reasons for it. And I think it's important to have those reasons as well, so that you actually know. It's not like you just blindly go, oh, the business I worked for before does this, and this. I don't know why. I'm just going to do the same thing, because it might not necessarily be the right thing. You might learn a bunch of things that you don't want to do in your own business.
And they might be following a model that is built from a larger business, or one that is, again, in the realm, and they've just taken over this one. Because you see, like, I've seen that happen a lot. Is a company will take over another one. They already have stringent policies, procedures, all that stuff, and they just push it as a blanket across, but it doesn't fit. So you get these like weird little retrofit things of like, in this event, do this, but we don't have this, right? So then maybe do this. And you see these like little crushed in things where, again, if you were like, why are we doing all this? Because that's what, like, because this is the process flow for it. And then you were to take it outside, you could be like, right, we can eliminate this whole fuckery because it does not apply to us. But if you don't know, if you don't ask the questions, you don't find out the answer for it. You could be wasting time pushing for something that is not even like applicable.
Yeah. So that's a big one for me. I would really recommend that. Like, become a manager of someone else's company and learn your way there. Don't just walk in and be like, I want to be the fucking top. Like,
I got the big dick. Let's go.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, like, learn and earn your way to the top of someone else's company. And hopefully you can find a boss that is a good mentor.
Yeah.
Because not all bosses are going to be good mentors. Like,
I've met one.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something that I would recommend a lot is learn to be a manager before you try and manage your own shit.
Yeah.
That's a big one for me.
Yeah, 100%, man.
What do you got?
So I feel like I've got a plethora of things that have happened. Yeah, things that like were at the time were seen as like super negatives. Like for example, I've mentioned this story to you. The time I got fired and hired in the same day, which is a really, really fun one. And one thing that I always took from that event was being super respectful, even if you're in a shit situation, to the people around.
Yeah.
So, like, for those playing at home, I worked for a company, having a general day. Everything was sweet. The big boss comes down and is like, everyone's got to go into an office. Cool. As he says it, he's holding a stack of envelopes. I'm like, that's bad. That's real bad.
Yeah.
We go in there and they say they're liquidating the company. They can't. The investors of it don't want to hold it up anymore. So they're going to remove it out. Everyone's officially redundant.
Yeah.
Depending on terms of services, how long you got there. So if you had been there for a year, you had an extra week, blah, blah. And that was the process that went on. As you can imagine, people were very unhappy about it and so on. And I very much in my head was like, it's all right. Like, it's shit, but it's all right. I just moved into this location as well. And I moved over here because the work was over here. So there was a few things I was like, that's a bit of a fuck around and all sorts of stuff like that. People started carrying on and swearing. And I understand you're emotional. It's a bad time, all that stuff. But it's just like, they're not doing it because they fucking wanted to. It's not a fun thing to do. It would have been a shit experience for the boss too to come down and be like, sorry guys, we're
Would
all
have been
done.
shit because he obviously had gotten the news from the investors that they're
Yeah.
gone, we're not holding your company up anymore.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
And then he's gone, fuck.
Yeah, I now need to tell 20 people
Yeah.
they don't have a job. Horrible. But yeah, and so like it was the display from the lads, some of the seniors was just piss poor, man. Even in a bad situation, you can make it worse if you react like a dickhead.
Yeah.
And so, like, someone walked out of the office and just started lighting up durries and stuff. And one of them was like, right, well, if it's not bolted down, I'm taking it with me. Like, and got this, like, sense of entitlement, like, you owe me. No, no one owes you shit, man.
No.
Anyway, and as most people carried on, I was like, all right, well, I went into my my general manager's office and was like, thank you for the time, appreciate it. Because I had only been there maybe like 9 months. So I was one that they were courteous to me and gave me a week.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, well, like, appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Like, what do you need me to do for last week? Like, because I've been around whilst businesses are closed up. So what's the process? How are we doing this here? And then he was unsure of it as well. And then went up to the big dog's office and went in, was like, mate, shit, it sucks, that happens. But like, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because they put me through my apprenticeships. They spent time on me. So yeah, when I was like, I want to, like, just say thank you for the time. And he was super nice. He was like, I will put everyone down. Like, I'll do references for everyone. Like, again, being courteous about it. It's just trying to show that mutual respect, even in a bad situation. Yeah, it was like, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. If there's something you need me to do or fucking want me to sweep some floors for a bit, just let me know. And he was like, nah, really glad that you come up. Would you like to come across to the second company that this board of investors owned? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then spoke about it from there. And he was like openly said that my attitude towards the bad information, not only this time but in other situations, was the direct relation of why it came across. My like not just fluffing around attitude for it, like very directive. This is what it is. Very clean cut. Was
and not necessarily like. I'm not saying you're unskilled, but not necessarily like a skill-based thing, or it was more of an attitude-based thing.
There were better people there than me, 100%. Yeah, 100%. There were better people there than me. Though they were much better on the tools. There's some lads that were fucking wizards, man. Though they were better on the tools, how they approach things, how their like mentality towards things as well was definitely in and out. And this is all like my company I now work for.
Yeah.
And my manager says that constantly. He'd much rather like employ attitude and personality over a skill set, because one might get you this far in front, but fuck you, this one will learn and adapt and will help pull you out the shit. So
and that's something that like we look heavily into now hiring at work. Hey, is like it's almost like skill. They're not irrelevant, but skills are definitely second tier to attitude and like enthusiasm and just like general vibe. Like, are they going to fit in with the crew? Because if someone has a shit attitude, I think it gives them some degree of unpredictability.
Yeah.
Where their work might be unreal. Like, they might be incredible at what they do, but if they're coming in 50% of the time with a shit attitude and they don't want to do the work, then you're only getting 50% of the output anyway. So like, their work might be at a higher level, but you're only getting 50% of it. So like, you're better off having someone who's like wants to be there and is like other people want to be around as well, because otherwise you just end up with a shop full of people that don't want to be there, because it only takes one person really with a shit attitude to drag everyone else down as well.
And it bleeds out, man. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Or like they just, if they're not like a personality fit, it'll be a conflict and they won't feel happy there. And then you're going to be back reapplying soon anyway. Yeah. We had two gentlemen that come in at the same time for the same job. One of them being Thorny. And
love Thorny.
Thorny was the one that didn't get the job.
Yeah, okay.
Right, and because we hired another gentleman, again, an incredibly skilled man.
Yeah.
Cannot fault him at that. Good dude, lovely man, very skilled. But his personality wasn't very fitting for the business's personality.
Yeah.
And Thorny didn't get the job. We later on then approached Thorny for a different position, and he come in, and Thorny's personality was everyone's personality. He fit beautifully for it. And then once the other employee, he ended up leaving not long after his, a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It felt like not long. And like that was a big indication of, though one was incredibly skilled in what he was doing, but he wasn't a fit for the team, to no fault of him at all.
Yeah.
But like how we operate can be very demanding mentally sometimes as well. And like that's not for everyone. And that's fair. Sometimes fucking not for me, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was just that was just a great example of that, like, you know, that different mindsets. It doesn't have to be like, oh, that guy tells good jokes and stuff like that. Sometimes they're just like calmer people that, you know, they react a little bit better under shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and that was like really backtracking here now.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I derailed that one a little.
That's okay. Yeah, no, that was a day that I, like, in my head, because you get a lot of time in your head when shit hits the fan sometimes. You get a full 5 minutes in that 10 seconds of silence.
It slows down a lot. Hey?
Real, man. So I was already like, what do I do? How do I, like, already, like, my logical brain was already trying to throw contingencies in there. And then went up and asked to stay, which then was super, like, it's a compliment to your personality as well, to be like, like your how you operate is how we want things to operate. So like, stay with us. And then turned what was a shit 5 minutes ago, like an absolute shitstorm, to then be like, fuck, I have to get back on the jobs and all sorts of stuff like that, into a great time, man. Like, I was a weird sense of security in a absolute train wreck of of insecurities.
Yeah.
But on that, he'll never listen. But the general manager, Matt Flattery, holy shit, was that dude solid through that. A little bit. I don't think I got a fault for him. He was a good dude. But when that went down, he pulled everyone together and he was like, we're not doing work for the next week. We're all going to sit down and apply for jobs, and I will be a reference for every single one of you right now.
That's mad.
Fucking solid. I would.
Because he doesn't have to do that. He would just be
Not
like,
at all. Yeah, see you guys. Finish the job you're on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100% if that man called me at any day, I would pick up and be like, what's going on, dude?
Yeah.
He is solid, man. Another weird thing about Flattery, he was definitely a manager that I liked to work with, man. There was a discrepancy once at work, and I had spoke to someone poorly, right? I'll take that. Was just they were being a fuckwit, and I was like, you're being a fuckwit, right? Yeah. And I said to like Matt,
sometimes it's warranted.
Matt, and I said to Matt, and I was like, mate, that's how I would want people to address me if I was carrying on like that.
Yeah.
And then sure as shit, man, maybe a couple months later, I was just carrying on like a fucking pork chop.
Yeah.
He'd come up, man, he'd give me like a pat on the shoulder. He's like, you're carrying on like a fuckwit. And I was like, copy that. Yeah. And I liked that. I liked his approach, man. He was, but also one of those managers that he knew your wife, he knew your dog, he knew what you did on the weekend. Like, was always like, how are these people? Good. Carry on. Solid. Yeah. Fuck, if he ever listens to it, well done. He was just a good dude, man. Hey, sorry, carry on.
No, that's cool.
Fucking Jamie over here. Also, did you notice I didn't go a bottle, so I can't make loud crunchy sounds now?
Yeah, nice. Good work. Just touching on that, when the shit hits the fan, how time slows down. I remember the phone call that I got from Statsy when he asked me if I wanted to be GM at Rival.
Yeah.
And it was just a regular conversation. I didn't have, you potentially had like half an hour or hours between the bad news and the good news.
Yeah.
I had a breath.
Yeah.
Where, and Statsy called me because I wasn't at work.
Yeah, you were driving.
I was on my way down to Canberra because we we're going to a wedding.
Yep.
And Statsy called me and I was like, weird, like what the fuck? Like he wouldn't be calling me, like he's respectful enough to not call me outside of work if it's not important. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? And we just pulled up for some lunch. And he was kind of like, oh, we're like restructuring the business a bit, and like there's a few things going on and blah, 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 like just in the background. And my immediate thought, I was just like, fuck, like how do I make demo work as my full-time job? Like I had this whole like business plan built up in my head. And then he was like, so like, do you want to run it basically? Like, do you want to be general manager? Like we need someone to kind of like steer the ship. And I was just like, holy, but that like a breath in between felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's funny is even when because you called me like straight after that, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I was at Hyperdome then, but I just remember you called me, and again, it was just a weird time for you to be calling me. And I was like, oh, what's up, man? Because I knew that you were on the road too.
Yeah.
Because I think I answered immediately. It was like, you good? Because again, weird time to be calling. You're like, yeah. just got a call from Rival, and I was like, oh no.
yeah.
You're like, no, it's pretty good. Yeah. And then like Katie in the background. But yeah, I remember that. That was a good day.
Yeah. But
I didn't receive the first call. It was a great day for me.
well, I mean, and to be fair, nothing that he said in that call was bad, but just the way he was kind of like, oh, like we got some restructuring going on, like we got a few things behind the scenes, like I was just like,
fucking lead with something else, hey?
Yeah. Give me a shit sandwich at least.
I enjoy, I enjoy Stats. He seems like a solid lad for all my interactions with him. I still owe him. I need a photo in his office with my feet up on his desk. I told him at your wedding I was going to do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm Alex, so it's practically my office. Seems like the lad that also would have been like, I have some good news for Jack. How can I roll this in dirt a little bit to fuck with him?
How can I fuck with him first?
I'm not sure how to deliver this news to you, man. Hey, so like, you got time? I call you back. And you're like, no, can't. What?
Yeah, tell me right now. Do you want a promotion?
What a motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's solid, but no, that's a good one, man.
Yeah. Fuck, I feel that part. That the time slowing down. Holy,
it's fierce, man. I have a real heavy one for time slowing down, and it's just one that like you can't. In my brain, I can't avoid talking about this when there's shit times or anything like that. And I mean, and like for the most part, I'm super transparent about all this anyway. So I'm not. I was a little like reluctant of do I open it up or not. But also in the same point as if any, and like I've dealt with someone close to me that also went through like a health battle and stuff like that. And they've referenced multiple times that my attitude to them and like sharing it was beneficial to them. So fucking happy for it for anyone.
And I can understand why you would be a little hesitant, I guess, because I know that you're not the type of dude that's like, you're not looking for sympathy either. Like you're not like,
I don't need sympathy. I'm not dead.
Yeah. But like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I
understand why, like, just because other people's reaction to it could be a little bit awkward, I guess.
Yeah, very much. Like, yeah. Also, heaps fun back in the day of like when, so like I had cancer. Just want to get that out there.
Just to get it out.
So like when I was like bald and stuff like that, man, people make fun jokes. And you're like, yeah, motherfucker. Oh, I love bringing that card up so much. I did it to you the other day.
Yeah, motherfucker.
I save it, man. I baited you into that one too because I knew you were going to do it.
Motherfucker.
But yeah, man. I like as far as time stood still. I don't remember a whole like that. My meeting with the with my I forget his name now. Shit. The gentleman that deals with your like aftercare and stuff like that, and he's also the one that sets up they are the person that set up your like chemo care and set up a doctor's plan and stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
And then so you go to your biopsy, your oncologist does all that, sweet, takes it out. You go into like this clinic essentially, and then old mate tells you whether it's a thumb up or a thumb down situation.
Yeah.
And
fuck being that guy.
mate, super nice man, but I have thought this many of times as Jesus, do you not have the worst job in the world, man? It was like private health, dude, you ain't getting paid enough, man. Fuck that job. But yeah, went in and he was like, right, so we got the biopsy back. He tells you like the size, tells you like what it is. It means nothing to me. I don't know your doctor's words. And then he's like, yeah, it was aggressive cancerous. We need to put you into treatment immediately. Fuck. From that point, could not tell you what was said for any part. And he's going through like a booklet, man, of like all this shit, of all the things that need to be done, things that you need to prepare for, all this shit, man. And I had a similar conversation too with my partner. I think it was today about like all that flipped through my head in that situation was everything I didn't do. All the things that I was like, I wish I did that. Yeah. I'm going to do this. It was a weird one. Not my family, not my friends. Wasn't any of that shit. Wasn't money. It wasn't anything that I had, right? It was all the things I didn't. Was never like, also was not like, I wish I spent more time with that person. It was, why didn't you go, a big one for me, pardon me, was I always wanted to go work underground in the mines. And then I was like, why didn't you do it? There was nothing fucking stopping you. And like all this shit, man, that's all I clipped for this whole, and it was a reverse. So instead of it being like 10 minutes in my head, 30 seconds on the outside, it was maybe a minute in my head, and it was an hour like thing. No idea. Left with stacks of paperwork, man.
And just going, what the fuck?
What literally got into my car of like, what the fuck is all this? Fair enough. I believe that they have dealt with this multiple times before because it is a detailed map. And then they call you and they were like, did you get it? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Fuck no, I don't even know who you are. And then you go through that, man. But that was a weird one because, I mean, ultimately, your first thing is, I'm going to die. And for a good chance, a lot of yous do, you know, a lot of them do. And when you like that hit of like get your affairs in order, I remember that line as well of like, ooh, still shudders me, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, went through this fuckery of chemo and treatment and all that stuff, right? And I remember there was one point I was driving through this town and I just seen this like big boy, not big, but like this massively unhealthy looking gentleman.
Yeah.
With a fucking club foot and a fucking durry. It wasn't a club foot. It was just like he was like all manged up. Respect my club foot boys. But he was like smoking durries. He was just looking like shit. And I was like, how the fuck am I 24 and dying and that cunt still just chilling?
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got past him, I was like, why the fuck are you sooking about poor me? If you like, and it was either shut up and fight it and survive, or go out fucking swinging. Like, that is your only option. There's no poor me. Ain't nothing coming to fucking save you.
Yeah.
And arguably that is a mentality I've taken through everything now. Is like nothing's coming to save you. Yeah. This is you against you. You need to get the fuck out of it. Yeah. You know, if you don't like this, change it.
It took me a long time to realize that just in life that like no one's coming to save you, dude.
There ain't no blanket here. Yeah. There ain't no resets on this bitch, man.
Yeah. And that's obviously, like quite a different situation, but like just in general in life, like
we all get taught lessons differently. But like if you fucking like it's that this is a weird spin on this, but if you know the whole like if you judge a elephant by its ability to climb a tree, it'll spend its whole life thinking it's silly, right? Yeah. But it's the same. I needed a much harsher whip to learn the same lesson that someone might learn with a carrot, right? Like it's a different, it's a different like process with it, and that's the only way I was going to learn it. I was never going to do anything if I didn't cop that absolute shitstorm. Dude. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I think that took me a long time. It took me a long time to realize that like no one is coming to save you. It's up to you. Like if you want anything, and that goes back to. Spoke about this in an earlier episode, but like me having earn it on the lock screen on my phone, and like that whole concept of like nothing's coming to save you. If you want something, you have to earn it. That is the only way. That's the only way forward is to earn whatever it is.
Yeah, it was weird that like I'm not like a superstitious person in the slightest. I'm not superstitious. I don't believe in like ghosts. I'm not going to shit talk ghosts in case they're real and come fuck with me. You're my boys. But very much careful what you wish for. This is something I say like in all magnitudes of it, man.
Yeah.
Before I got diagnosed with cancer, I had to get up and go to work. It was a fucking easy job too. I was a truck driver. Shut up, cunt. What a sort. I hate the truck drivers, but like still, it's relatively don't kill anyone. Good day.
Yeah.
Right. And I was sooking. I was like, oh, how good would it be just to lay in bed? I wish I didn't have to go to work. Here's some cancer, cunt. Lay in bed now, you fuckwit. All right, cool. And that's what it is, man. Yeah. Very much of like, I asked for strength and I got the lesson to learn it. Yeah. Nothing will be handed to you. Ain't nobody coming to be like, oh, do you want me to go drive your truck and you just lay in bed for you?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just pay you. You just have the days off, Alex. Yeah. No, cunt. Yeah. That's what you get.
Yeah.
That's what you get, motherfucker.
Yeah. And that is a brutal way to learn that lesson. But
I had to. There was, man.
But how often now have you, and we've spoken about this, is that obviously that was such a massive like growing period for you, and like, you know, you came out, obviously you came out of the other side of that a very different person.
Very, yeah.
And how many times now, like, I guess you're not going to catch yourself having that attitude now where you're like, oh, I wish I just could just bum around and do nothing.
Pull it up so quick, hey?
Yeah, because you're like,
cancer, motherfucker.
Remember that time that we got to fucking lay in bed?
Yeah, man.
Fuck that. Let's go.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, very much so. Like Jocko Willick's Good.
Yeah.
That is my biggest relate to it, man.
Yeah.
Is I'm like, good, sweet. You got handed a tool.
Yeah.
Learn to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. And like, yeah, you can let it defeat you. You can survive it and still have it defeat you as well. That's a big thing, man. You can win and still lose. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And like it's not all like, I mean, you get this. I mean, I think it's because it's very like, I can't think of the word. It's very like movies just depict this like new outlook on life. Everything's fucking brighter. Everything's good. Man, not for me. Not for anyone I know that's been through it. Shit's not brighter anymore. Like the fun sort of gets zapped out a little bit because you get a taste of like, this shit's real, bro.
Yeah.
This shit is real. When you get that close to it, man, you lose a little bit of excitement, you know, because you know what that shit sort of tastes like now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a fucking weird one, man. But also at the same point, super free.
Yeah.
Because like, I have a mate, and if they ever watch this, they'll know who I'm talking about. But they do the same thing, man. I used to go for my checks. You meant to go for your 3 monthly checks and all this shit, man. And they are so month 1, sweet, happy as days. Month 2, I have my check next month. Month 3, do I have cancer?
Yeah.
Panicked, right? Good shit worse. Good shit worse. Good shit worse for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Or it's not going to stop you from having cancer if you know it or not.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not going to stop you from dying whether you fight it or not. You can either live your fucking life and do stuff, or you can be scared.
Yep.
Man, and again, I was not going to learn this any other way. You know, a lot like the lessons that you learn sometimes are disguised as really bad things, but you have to you got to get them. And if you this is an interesting one that I think about too, is I'm like, but why did I have to get such a hard lesson? Because you weren't going to learn it the other way. So now maybe don't be so closed off to learning shit, fuckwit, so we don't have to go through so much shit.
So you don't have to have such a hard lesson.
Yeah. Because life, you know that like you can have anything you wish for. If you manifest it, it'll come. Not in the little pretty package you want it to, it won't.
Yeah.
But it'll fucking come for you. In some way or another, it will come around for you. Yeah.
And I'm a pretty big believer. Not that I'm like particularly superstitious or like...
Just in case the ghosts are watching.
Just in case they're watching. We're all friends here.
Yeah.
No, I'm a pretty firm believer though that like whatever you put out into the universe will find its way back to you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's because subconsciously when we put shit out into the universe, we take little steps towards that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And you think about it. This is that similar to if you just think that you're going to earn $50, you'll
find a way. You'll find a way to earn $50, and it'll seem like it happened by accident. But you kind of, like you've put that out there and been like,
you've only steered in that direction.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's say if you only think about like, all right, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to do that. Like that. Yeah, that's
all you'll do.
That's all you'll do. Yeah. Yeah, very much so. I mean, I agree with that if you're just constantly thinking about it, that's They say that shit like, I hope I don't see. I hope I don't see a spider.
Yeah.
And then you're like, fucking spider there. Yeah, it's because you brought
you're
that
looking
bitch
for
in there.
one.
Yeah, exactly. You were looking for it is a good example there. I couldn't articulate that very well. But
I think that's what manifesting is really, is that if you keep it in your mind enough, you'll look for it.
Yeah.
Whether you realize you're looking for it or not.
Yeah.
And a really good analogy I like for this is that like all of the things in life, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, they're like radio stations. They're all playing all at once, and you'll tune into, like you kind of get to choose which one you tune into. And so I think that's kind of what manifesting is. It's like there is all of these opportunities that are available, and most of them go unnoticed because you're not looking for them. But when you start to like manifest something, it's you kind of making those micro decisions, whether they're conscious or not, to tune into those channels where you're going to find the opportunities to move towards the thing that you're manifesting. Yeah. I don't think it's actually magic. I think that if you just tell yourself that this is something that I'm going to do, you'll start recognizing the opportunities to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to touch on something real quick of
Yep.
what I said before. I derailed myself before I finished it when
Okay.
I was like,
Continue.
why did I get like such a hard lesson?
Yep.
I see people around me doing this same thing of like, life's been hard to me. This is going bad. This is always shit. It's because you're refusing. The lesson you refuse to learn will repeat itself until you do. I cannot express how fucking beautiful that is.
Yep.
Gee, I'm gonna clip that for myself. All right, that'll be my ringtone. But like, it is, man. And that is what it was. I refused to learn, and it continued to teach me with such severity until I picked up and fucking had a read, man. And I see it with boys around me all the time, right? Of like, this is hard. And again, I just want to point, if this is resonating with you, bitch, it's you. You just lace the shoe up, motherfucker, and wear it, right? If you, if your lessons are getting harsher and harsher on you, it's because you're reluctant to learn and grow from it. And it will keep getting worse until it fucking sinks you if you don't want to learn it.
Yep. Kind of taps into the failing forward a little bit thing as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Fuck, I love that. Oh man, that shit fires me up,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I'm pumped though. Sorry, can you go and shut me the fuck up? 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm just rage
I
on
mean,
this, man.
and granted, that one wasn't necessarily a mistake on your end, but there was a positive outcome.
So sorry. So when I say mistakes, it was instead of like
you're refusing to learn the lesson before it got
Was a
so
mistake, yeah.
severe.
Very much so.
Was potentially a
yeah.
mistake.
I'm not saying I manifested cancer, but like let's just. I mean,
Hypothetically.
no one in my family has had it, so
Yeah.
did I? Anyway, weird. But like it was a negative that
become such a massive positive.
I would not be here where I am today had I not had it.
Yeah, because you would have continued. Because after that, you then went and worked underground in the mines, and you
Exactly. Yeah.
Because
And then went overseas, and then did everything.
and did all the things that you went. Fuck! Why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
And without that harsh of a lesson,
No.
you may have just continued that forever.
Yeah.
And just been like,
I wanna
I'm
do
gonna,
that, yeah.
I want to.
Fuck that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all I would have been, dude.
Yep.
Yeah. Without that. And some of us are lucky enough to be like, I should do this and pursue this without the lesson. But yeah, where I want to go into like this episode was not so much mistakes that you've made, but negatives that have become positive.
that have been spun around.
Yeah. That were like, because that's the best thing. Weird. The best thing that has ever happened to me
Yeah, interesting.
in the most fucked up way.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going into it, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, and I can see as well, just from stories you've told me from when you were younger, and that you like that you didn't fucking learn.
Yeah,
and
bro.
and you were the guy that would blame other people for your own problems.
Yeah,
and,
man. Oh,
and like
yeah.
that shift. Yeah, that shift potentially would have never happened.
Yeah. I would have been more of a piece of shit.
Hard to believe, but
Yeah, I know, right? That's true.
So I have another one that hasn't necessarily spun its way into a positive yet. I think this is something that I'm still.
So sorry. I just made
slurping
it. I'm
the
so
fucking
sorry.
straw.
I seen it and was like, I'm going to see if I can sneak
Get
this
this out
away.
quiet.
Yeah, and then you didn't react, and that made me react. I'm so sorry. Please continue.
Yeah, this is something that I still continue to deal with,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that I didn't realize was a me problem for a very long time.
Microponus?
Yeah.
So sorry, man. I'm so sorry. If you watch this back, you will see me start laughing before you. I had that dialed from a little bit ago.
Oh, shit.
Please, Jack. I'm sorry.
Anyway, let's try again. Sorry, that was really
I
loud.
always I deflect real bad
Yeah.
when I get a little too serious and then be like, oh, maybe you're bringing stuff down, put a joke in there to make it lighthearted. That was me deflecting. I'm sorry.
That's right. Yeah, so this is something, and as I grew up racing dirt bikes, this was something that I did a lot, and it was, I think it came from just my kind of like insecurities and just being socially a bit awkward. I think you've been quite a help for me with this.
I'm so sorry.
You'll see where I'm going with this in a second, but like just willing to not being like so scared to interact with people. which anyone who doesn't know Alex in real life, you can't fucking stop him from making friends with people.
The ghosts.
Yeah.
Ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know where that comes from, hey?
Yeah, and just probably a personality thing, but we can put you in any room with anyone and you'll pick out someone and or everyone in some rooms and just be like, we're all mates now.
Bro, off camera, I got a story of last night. It won't be fun for the podcast, but like I got a funny story of when this happened.
Yeah.
Also, side note, someone asked me the other day, they were like, how did you and Jack meet? I was like, I spoke to him at the skate park. They were like, did you speak to him? I was like, yeah. I said, what happens if you didn't speak to him? I was like, we never would have been friends.
We wouldn't have spoken.
Never spoke.
And so this is where I'm getting at is that like I for so long was like, and it was just because I was nervous scared to talk to people. So, especially people that like I thought were cool, especially like growing up racing dirt bikes. There was a lot of people that like I looked up to and like they had cool bikes. They they always had gear sets that looked cool. They were fast or whatever. I just wouldn't talk to anyone because I was like too nervous and like I thought no one liked me. And me being too nervous to talk to people because I didn't think anyone liked me made people think that I was the dickhead and that I was up myself and that I thought I was too good for everyone. And then in turn, they didn't like me.
Mate, one of my few, like I have a bunch of like fun favorite stories of yours that one day I'll show up and it'll all just work. We'll live forever. And you and I at the skate park. Yeah. And then who was that about?
I can't remember, but I remember we were leaving the skate park and
was it Tentacles? Sean, by the way,
Sean,
for those listening, fuck, he's good.
Sean, if you are listening, that's your nickname. Yeah, that we've never said to your face is Tentacles.
No. I definitely have.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't talk to him because I'm too nervous to talk to anyone.
It was TI22 Tentacles. It was someone. God, I need to use real people's names.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we got in the car and Jack was like, why don't they talk to me, but they talk to you? And then before I could even speak, you were like, because I don't talk to them. And I was like, yep, that's it, bud. That's it, yeah.
So this is, I don't think I've necessarily got the positive spin out of this. I mean, I am to some degree because I am loosening up with it a little bit. And when I do interact with people, like, it's only a positive.
Yeah.
Where I spent so much of my life just being too scared to talk to anyone.
Yeah. I mean,
now that I'm doing this.
I could give you a positive for you from outside, right?
Yep.
So back when demo started, people thought demo was mine because I would push it because you wouldn't talk to people. Yep. And I would be like, demo this, we'll film you, we'll do it just to fucking it, because that's also my specialty.
Yeah.
And then, so I would speak to anyone and everyone to get all this shit, right?
Yeah.
As you developed, but when I wasn't there, you struck a deal with Monster.
Yeah.
Because you went out and started talking to people, you pushed that forwards. So it was you moving that forward had taken it much further than what I was ever fucking capable of doing with it. Or because you like started to come out of it. There's like, from the outside, you can see the progression that goes through it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think there's a few pivotal moments in that where there was a few days that you didn't come to the skate park on a Wednesday night, and I was like, fuck, got to steer the ship myself tonight. I'm going to have to start the conversations.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah. And yeah, I was just like, fuck. Like, I was like, I almost don't want to go without Alex because how am I going to talk to anyone? Genuine thoughts that I had, like, only a year ago.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of how racing this is for me. And it took me so long to realize that, like, it's not that people don't talk to me because they don't like me. It's they don't like me because I don't talk to them.
Very much. This thing you said to me, you used it in a different way, but it's very effective. Because you used it in a business perspective of if you want it, someone else wants it.
Yeah.
But if you're feeling it, someone else is feeling it. So they're like, I don't want to talk to people because I'm whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to talk to people because of whatever. And now you're just a bunch of fucking mutes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then everyone leaves the skate park going, they were acting weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
They were acting weird. Why were they being weird to me?
Yeah. I remember like even the first time the like TI22 messaged me when I was in Darwin. And I was like, what the fuck? Why is it? But again, it's just because I'll just speak to anyone. Hey? Yeah. I know. I don't know why I don't get that nervous to talk to people or... Again,
I was a very anxious kid, I think.
Yeah.
It just kind of was fucking in me forever.
Actually, I I have a thing, if I ever feel, because I still feel like nervous and anxious sometimes, and I recite to myself, being scared ain't going to stop it from killing you. And it comes from such a fuck thing in my childhood. I was home alone once when my house got broken into.
Oh, shit.
Great. Fuck, I had parents. Anyway, and I was like, you got to do something, right? And I didn't because I was like fucking struck with fear in it.
Yeah.
But then they rattled themselves and like ran away from it. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, whether you were scared, it didn't stop them from coming in. They were moving faster, bitch, because you were scared and doing nothing. So you need to like you need to aggress the aggressor essentially on it and adapt that with everything of like, talking about. I had to talk to people I didn't want to talk to fucking 2 Mondays ago, man, about a thing I had no idea about. But still, being scared ain't going to stop it from killing you.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, but that's the man. I'm going to start saying it out louder because I say it so much at the skate park.
Yeah.
The wall ride with you, I was like, fuck, just do it, man. Just yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm scared of lions. Cunt's still going to eat me.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the outcome if you do nothing about it.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, carry on. I just know exactly where that thing changed for me in life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
Being scared ain't going to stop it from killing you.
Damn.
I think that's it's probably not a bad spot to wrap up.
Oh yeah, I'm for that. It's hot as fuck in this room.
Yeah, you're sweating through your shirt.
Yeah, I try to hide it. How good's the sleeper shirt, bro?
Yeah. Side note, if you're still listening, sleeper's not too far off.
Hell yeah.
We got orders in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're building some stuff in the background, so we'll keep everyone updated. But sleeper's not too far off. We're pretty stoked to launch that and have it be a real thing.
Yeah, hopefully the socials will be up soon. So if you want to go over and have a look at that and get amongst that,
but we'll kind of announce all that as it kind of
you see it. Yeah, move across our socials and stuff like that. But yeah, again, I had a few comments throughout the week on the last ones. I forgot that I referenced building origami on the podcast. I need a fact checker.
Yeah.
That's not happening. That was a fucking lie.
I feel like this is pretty quickly gonna turn into lies we've told on the internet.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah. As always, give us a share if you find anything we said useful, interesting, funny, whatever. We appreciate all the messages.
Yeah, keep messaging, keep them coming.
Yeah.
Love the support.
Sweet. Till next time.
Thanks,
Peace.
guys.